Good morning. Welcome to my video about managing foundation training as a parent. I'm coming to the end of my foundation. I'm in my last few days, and it was really important to me to wait until the end of my foundation to make this video so I could kind of give you an overarching idea of how I've managed it overall. I feel like I've got a really good perspective on this because when I qualified, my son was 6 and I worked full-time for the majority of foundation, so all the way until May of F2. And then I had a baby, took a year out, came back in the February, and I've gone 60% since then. I wanted to kind of vlog this video because it's sometimes easy to sit at home and say, yes, it's all fine. And I wanted to do it kind of when I was sitting here in the car park at work before I start work, when I've left them, and give you a sense of how I feel. So, overall, my F1 year was hard, harder than F2, certainly. In F2, I kind of felt like I worked less for more money, full-time, not at all when I went part-time. I don't know whether that was just my rotations, how it fell, but in F1 I felt like I had quite a heavy Encore rota. There was only one point during F1, there was about 3 weeks when I was on medicine in January and I was on a respiratory ward where I just worked insanely long weeks and I felt like I never left the hospital and it was horrendous. But overall, it was fine. So I've had 2 community blocks. So I had GP and I had child psychiatry, and child psychiatry was a great block to do because I did a full Encore rota in cardiac surgery, full Encore rota in haematology, which had general medical encores. But then when I went on to psychiatry, I had like 3 or 4 days on call at the weekend in the whole 4-month block, no nights, no evenings, and those weekends were 9 to 5, something like that. So it gave me a really nice break. And then I went on to obs and gynae, which was obviously an Encore rota, and then community gerries I did as well, which only had very limited encores. It was no nights, it was only weekends. And I think that was 8 till 5 as well, so that was quite good. So it's largely been fine. I obviously had the baby in May, so I've now got a 1-year-old and I'm back working 60%. I found people have been very supportive for me to do less than full time. At the moment I'm living life, it's sunny. I genuinely feel like my life is elsewhere and I kind of popped to the hospital. So I'm doing 3 days, but obviously because of COVID, one of those afternoons is teaching and I'm doing that from home. So dad's obviously there with baby, but I get to be with baby as well. Or at least there's no, there's less of a commute, after teaching finishes. So I'm finding it very manageable. That said, I do struggle with encores now because obviously baby's so little. So I've got an encore on Monday. It's just one, thankfully. But when I do, sort of like back-to-back encores, I just end up not seeing baby for 2 or 3 days, which I find really, really hard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film again on Monday when I've got a very long day, and I'll let you know how that goes in terms of the children and whatever. I should say, I have never missed anything of my son's. I've been able to go to every parents' evening. I've been to every kind of the daytime nativities and plays that they do. I've always managed to be able to get them. It's just required some planning. I obviously have missed things, but I haven't worked Christmas yet, and I've never worked on his birthday. So I think they're the things that people worry about. Obviously, I'm never going to be able to work. I'm never going to be able to get every Christmas off. One day perhaps I'm going to work someone's birthday, but it hasn't happened yet. So I've been in theatre all morning, and it is hard to be away from the children, but it makes it easier because I'm doing something that I love, and that makes all the difference. Morning. So I'm here for my on-call. I'm on 13 hours. So I said I was going to vlog this because this is the bit where I struggle, I think, most with being a parent and being a doctor, because I'm doing 13 hours today, and the reality is with small children you're just not going to see them for that day. I'm not going to see them in the evening. So usually the day is fine. It's usually around 4 or 5 the time. So it's usually around 4 or 5 when baby starts to get a little bit antsy for me usually, and on a normal day that's fine because I'm home by 5:30. But around 5:30 today, that's where I really start to feel the fact that I know that she'll be missing me. My son, who's now 9, I qualified when he was 6. He largely finds it fine. I think with older children, they understand the routine, they get into the habit of it, and you can explain to them, you know, this is what mummy does. We always do this thing where whenever we drive past one of the hospitals that I work in, you know, I always just, you know, I give them a little salute and I say, you know, that place is full of doctors and they're working so I don't have to. And I think that's a great way of practicing gratitude and getting children to understand that, you know, it's the nature of the beast, isn't it? Is that the reality is that someone has to be staffing whatever department you're on 24/7, and we're part of that rota. Now, I've been lucky because I've been off on maternity leave and because I'm breastfeeding. I haven't been on a full on-call rota. I'm not doing nights, but I am doing my long days. So I'm not doing them. I haven't been doing them. You know, I've had a year off at least. It's been 3 weeks since my last on-call. So, you know, I think that's fairly standard, you know, for surgery. You might perhaps do more if you're on medicine. I think I certainly did more on medicine. One of the things that I have found is, obviously I'm less than full-time at the moment, so I'm only doing one of these. So the thing that will get me through today is that effectively I'm off all day with baby tomorrow, which is great. I've made plans with my son already. I always try and do that. So I'll always try and say, look, you know, I'm on call today, but this is what we'll do when you get back from school tomorrow. I am working the weekend this weekend, and I really hate that. I used to do obviously the run of 4 on calls, which was difficult, you know, because obviously I wouldn't see my son, you know, and it was awful. But you know, he sort of got used to that as he's got older. But baby does struggle. I'm still breastfeeding, so I've got a run of weekends. That's 26 hours worth of work that I'm doing over 2 days. But more than that, obviously by the time I get home, both of my children are in bed, so I realistically won't see them from, you know, when I go to work in the morning on Saturday until Monday morning really. And I do find that difficult. As I said earlier in the video when I was about to go into theatre, what does make it easier is the fact that I love my job. That does help. And I try and explain that to the children. I was explaining that to my son anyway, that, you know, it's really important to work for what you love, and you know, this is what I love and this is what I do. But it is a struggle, and I'm going to vlog today and see how I get on, but I do struggle with it sometimes. It's 4:30. I'm definitely starting to feel the mum thing because I know that baby will be wanting me by now. So got 4 hours, nearly 5 hours to go, so just keep marching through, I suppose. Hi, I'm just about to start my on-call. So I'm on call 13 hours over the weekend, and it's just been so difficult to leave baby, so difficult, because obviously don't see her now for 24 hours until I snatch tomorrow morning, and I'm just not feeling great about it, to be honest. So there's that. So the on-calls are always difficult. I finished my run of on-calls, you know, obviously I'm only 60%, so it's not been too bad actually in terms of how many on-calls I've got. But I do struggle with those run of 13 hours. Luckily there aren't too many of them. I've now finished foundation. I'm about to start core surgical training, and I have got my rota for that, so I need to go and look at that. I would say on the whole, foundation has been fine. I don't think you'll find it too traumatic, but rotas are different places. So my top tip is just be honest with your ESs and your CSs, your supervisors, and if you're struggling, go to them and say to them, you know, I'm struggling. You can always drop down. You can always go to 90%. You can go to 80%. You can go to 60. You know, 50. Whatever works for you. So please don't struggle in silence. There are increasingly more and more of us that are doing foundation as parents, which historically I think has not been a thing. So please, if you are struggling, go and make them aware that you're struggling, and see what can be put in place to help you. Bear in mind that, you know, foundation is temporary. It feels like a long time, but you will get through it. There were definitely moments where I sort of felt like it was never going to end, but that isn't the case. It will end. I will keep you posted with how I find core surgical training, and whether that is as manageable, should we say, as foundation has been. So please subscribe if you'd like to, and you can contact me on Instagram to ask any questions. Thanks.